3, 2, 1. Here we are, folks. All right, 3, 2, 1. Live. Ask the GAPS Chef. Here we are. This is the second Wednesday of the month. I'll be here live second and fourth Wednesdays of the month to answer your questions about GAPS. Monica Corrado here, certified GAPS practitioner, the GAPS Chef, teaching chef, holistic nutritionist, etc., etc. Happy to talk with all of you about GAPS and answer your questions. So today, I thought it would be totally fun if I talked about something very, very important, which is, hold on. Okay, very, very important. Oh, wait, let me start over. Monica Corrado here, the GAPS Chef. I am not a medical doctor. Nothing I say here has been approved by the FDA or any other AMA, blah, blah, blah. I do encourage you to take a look at the GAPS books, the yellow book, which is the Gut and Psychology Syndrome, the blue book, which is the Gut and Physiology Syndrome, my book, which is the Complete Cooking Techniques for the GAPS Diet. There's a coupon on our page for anyone that would like that. You're welcome to use new GAPS, all caps, 2023. I'm going to fix this right there. There we go. In any case, so you're welcome to do all of those things, and do read the book ahead of time so that you know how to do GAPS, right? It's kind of like the manual. You want to read the manual before you start on a big project. GAPS is a big project. So read the manual first and then get started. You are always welcome to join my Thursday GAPS chat. You can find that on my website, simplybeingwell.com. It's a weekly meeting, 1 hour, where we all ask questions about GAPS. We can troubleshoot recipes. We can talk about sourcing. I do some teaching specific to the GAPS diet. So please do take a look at that if you're interested in joining us on a weekly basis on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Eastern, of course, 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so today I said that I was going to make an announcement, which I'm going to do in a moment. But the first thing that I'm going to do is to tell you about something really, really important. Ready? Let's take a deep breath. This is critical information, and it's not really highlighted in either book in the way that I understand it, and it is this. In order, well, we'll start differently. All of you lovelies are out there doing your best to make meat stock, which is a short cooked stock made from meaty bones. As you all know, those meaty bones should have meat, connective tissue, a joint in it, etc., etc. Very little water, meaning cover those bones by 1 to 2 inches of water only, pure water, filtered water. Yeah. You can add some salt to that. You can also add vegetables to that or not. Right? Carrots and onions or none, up to you. Bring it to a boil. Skim and discard the scum. I teach that dance actually in my live classes. Bring it to a boil, skim and discard the scum, right? Put it down to a simmer. A simmer is when it is flat or still on top and it's moving underneath, right? So there's your movement, there's your flat, there's your movement. It's not this. We're not cooking meat stock like this. That's a boil. It's a roaring, rolling boil. We're doing this nice little simmering going on. Yeah? Then the lid goes on. Then it's cooked, poultry, 1.5 hours to 3 hours at the most on the stove. And or 4 to 6 hours at the most for anything that's a quadruped, right? So quadruped, meaning 4 legs, mammal, right? Lamb, pork, beef, bison, game, etc. All right, so the thing that people are missing, and if they're saying they're, boy, I'm making my meat stock, I'm drinking my meat stock, I'm having a cup to 2 cups to 3 cups a day, every day, and I'm just not getting the healing that I think I should be getting by now. And that is because you're missing 2 things, maybe 3. 1, stomach acid. I really encourage everyone to take the stomach acid test. It's just also known as the baking soda burp test. So the baking soda burp test is on this group page, Ask the GAPS Chef. It literally just gives us a sense of whether or not your stomach is producing enough acid. So why is that important? Because your body doesn't just take in collagen and stick it on your knee, or take in collagen. You eat collagen, you eat chicken skin, you drink meat stock, and it sticks it on your shoulder or on your face to make new beautiful skin, or in your hair or in your small intestine. No. That collagen that you're eating or you're drinking, you're consuming, must be first broken down into its component parts, meaning its amino acids, right? So you drink or eat the collagen, the food that has collagen. How do you know it has collagen? Because it's either connective tissue like skin from a chicken, or the nibbly bits, right? The little connective, little cartilage pieces, right, that you're eating. Could be one of those things. It could also be that your meat stock gelled. When it gels, that tells us it has collagen in it. Yeah? So you're eating or drinking the collagen. Then it has to go into your stomach, and your stomach needs to digest it. It needs to break it down into its component parts. What does it need to do that? Stomach acid. So if your stomach acid is low, good luck. You can drink all the meat stock you want, and you will never, that's pretty strong, never, but you really won't get the kind of nutritional support from that collagen that you could. Your body can't use it. If it can't break it down, it can't use it. If you don't have high enough levels of stomach acid, meaning stomach acid production, your body can't use it. You're spending money to source money and time to source beautiful meaty bones that are clean. You're spending time cooking it. You're eating it diligently. You're still not getting what you need from this. Your healing is not going the way you want it to go. What are you missing? Maybe adequate levels of stomach acid. So take that stomach acid test if you want, if you like. It will give you some information. And then we can talk about what to do to get stomach acid levels up. There are specific things you can eat and drink on the GAPS diet before we have to even look at what Dr. Natasha calls a stomach acid booster, like hydrochloric acid, betaine, HCl with pepsin, right? So we'll go ahead and do that. Take the stomach acid test. I totally encourage you to do that. Okay. All right. So what do you need? 1, stomach acid. 2, sauerkraut. Why do you need sauerkraut? Because sauerkraut, or sauerkraut juice, or cabbage tonic, the recipe is in featured posts for you. It's also on my blog. Maybe it's on my blog. Maybe it's on Saline River Press blog. It's called, the article that I wrote is called Beet Kvass and Cabbage Tonic, Which, When? And it answers those questions for you, along with recipes on how to make it. So why sauerkraut? Why sauerkraut juice? Why cabbage tonic? Right? Because cabbage is very high in vitamin C, and your body needs to use vitamin C complex, food vitamin C, is always best. 2, weave those amino acids that it just broke down back into collagen in your body, right? So first you make the fabulous meat stock and it gels. Yeah. You could make collagen cubes if you want from all the connective tissue and some meat stock. Whir it up in a blender, freeze it, use cubes of collagen, right? Then your stomach acid breaks them down, right? So I'd go like this because it's kind of like in my mind, I see it as a weaving, right? Like fabric almost, right? Collagen is woven together. So the collagen gets broken down the stomach by hydrochloric acid. Then you eat sauerkraut, or you drink sauerkraut juice, or you drink cabbage tonic. Very high vitamin C, food-based vitamin C. This is not ascorbic acid, which will not help you in this, by the way. Okay, it's food-based vitamin C. It's bioavailable C complex, right, in these foods that will help the body to take those amino acids and now weave them together into a structure, a nice structure for your body. Now, there are a couple other things you need: zinc, copper, and manganese. Little tiny bits of them. Where do we get them from? Eating liver, yeah, eating other organs, and using good sea salt that is high in minerals. Okay, I'm going to talk about salt today too, I think. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to find my little tiny, there it is. I'm going to say salt. Let's talk about salt. There's some interesting things about salt right now out there, so we're going to talk about that and fears about salt, etc. Okay. All right. So again, one more time with feeling. If you're not getting the healing, I made a joke. One more time with feeling. If you're not getting the healing, right? Feeling, healing. If you're not getting the healing that you think you should be getting by now from meat stock, I encourage you to do 3 things. 1, check your stomach acid levels with that very easy baking soda test. 2, make sure that you're getting enough sauerkraut or sauerkraut juice or cabbage tonic or some other high vitamin C. All your ferments will be high in vitamin C because fermentation, lactofermentation, helps increase C levels in that food. How cool is that? Very cool. All right, so, and what's the last thing? Eat organ meats and use good salt. So I guess that's 4 things. Don't forget the salt. All right, so that is a tidbit, that is a pearl, that is something that I hope will go viral all over all the GAPS diet groups, etc., etc. The GAPS diet provides for these foods. It has them in there. Dr. Natasha has said over and over, have meat stock every day, have organ meat every day, have lacto-fermented vegetables every day, and this is why. It's everything you need to have meat stock work. So just do those things and let's see how you progress. Yeah? Okay. So that's the first piece of information I wanted to go over today, and I hope that it serves you well, and I hope it makes your GAPS journey easier and more efficient, more effective, and maybe even faster, less time. Yeah? Okay. The next thing I'd like to talk about today is salt. Let's talk about salt. So, salt, S-A-L-T. Okay, so on the GAPS diet, we are never talking about table salt. What is table salt? Table salt is highly refined. All the minerals have been taken out. Has a bunch of flow agents in it, which are chemicals you don't want in your body and in your diet. And it's pretty much sodium chloride, NaCl. Those would be brands like, this is not to like kibosh anyone, but for example, a common table salt will be like Morton salt, right? Or some other table salt that you're getting that people use in restaurants, etc. Table salt. It's just salt. It's mostly sodium chloride. It's mostly NaCl. Okay, so what we want to be using on the GAPS diet is a high, what I call a high mineral salt. I call it that because then it's easier to find, right? I have all of these things that you're looking for in a salt in my book, but I'll go over them here, right? What are you looking for in a salt? You are looking for high minerals. So what does that mean? I like to describe that as, I'll start differently. Backing up. Starting over. The company that makes the salt, the manufacturer that provides the salt for you, should, on their label or on their website, be able to tell you which minerals are in that salt. And when they tell you that, so first of all, if you get a salt that doesn't tell you that, don't bother taking it in my book. I mean, you can, but it's not going to do what we want it to do, which is to make sure you're getting the trace minerals that your body needs, right? All of our bodies are lacking in trace minerals. So you want to look for a salt that has 50 or more trace minerals. And it will say that on the label, or it will say it on their website, right? So I'm just going to say, name some. These are the salts that I work with. You can work with whatever you find that A, doesn't have any anti-caking agents in it and doesn't have any flow agents in it. It will actually say that under ingredients. It'll say anti-caking agent, blah, blah, blah. Flow agent, blah, blah, blah. You don't want any of that CRAP, I said it, in your salt, okay? And you want them to tell you that there are 50 or more minerals in that salt. So the first brand that we know has more than 50 minerals, that they'll find it right on the website, is Baja Gold. That's from in the US. It comes from underground mines in Utah. Used to be a deep seabed. I believe that's what they call it anyway. And so they'll tell you we have 53, at least the last time I checked, 53 minerals, and this is how many minerals, and tra-la-tra. So there's one. The second one is all of the Celtic sea salt made by Selena, S-E-L-E-N-A, naturally. They were the original Celtic, C-E-L-T-I-C, Celtic sea salt that they were the original salt that was, that Weston Price started using, the Weston A. Price Foundation started using, I'm betting 25 years ago or more, which is how old the foundation is. So, okay, so they have over 80 minerals. Last time I looked, 83, 87, I don't know. Look it up, but a lot of minerals. Yay! They also tell you the amounts. And the last thing is to go ahead and look at Baja Gold, B-A-J-A Gold, Baja Gold. Give me 1 second. Look at that. I'm going to be quiet here. 1 second. I'm looking on my phone. It's showing me no comments from any of you, which is really interesting. But I'm going to look if I can find your comments. Expand the comments. Where are you? Something went wrong. Where are you? Oh, look at all those people that are here. See, they're telling me no one is here. Okay, you're here. I'm going to say hello first, since I finally found all of you. All right, so, hello. Where are these people? Hello, all the way from the UK. It doesn't tell me who you are. Who is it saying hello? It's Asha. Hello, Asha. Hello, Laura from Canada. We've got the UK. We've got Canada. We've got Mallory from Malta. We've got Laura again. We've got Dana. Dana, how are you to have Dana here? Okay, everybody's here. And someone called, I think it's Rachel, maybe here also. Hello, Sabine from Germany. I'm so excited to have all of you with me. silly Facebook was telling me no one was here to say hello, and you're all saying hello, and I love that. All right, I'm going to get your questions in a moment. Let me finish the salt thing because I think it's important. There's a lot of misinformation flying around social media right now, Facebook groups, etc., about salt. So the first thing that I was saying is that, or the last thing, so 3 brands that I work with. One is Baja Gold. Well, Baja Gold. One is Redmond's Real Salt. Second is all the Celtic salts. And third is Baja Gold. The reason I like Baja Gold, everyone, and my friend and colleague, Dr. Becky Plotner, she's up there, used to also recommend Baja Gold, is it's got the most minerals and the most amounts of those minerals. So make sure when you're using salt that you're using a high mineral salt. All right, that's the first thing. I'm going to do 3 things. The second thing is make sure that the salt that you are using is testing for microplastics. And these 3 brands are testing for microplastics as far as I know. Any salt that comes from the sea, you need to have it tested for microplastics because they're finding microplastics in the salt. They're making sure they're not in those salts because you don't want to be eating microplastics, right? All right, that's point 2. So make sure that the salt that you're eating, number 1, is high mineral and does not have any anti-caking or flow agents. Number 2, make sure that they're testing for no microplastics. That you will find on their website. It may not say it on their packaging, but it will say it on their website. And the third thing is, so about, I'm going to say within the last year or so, I'm not sure, but about within the last year or so, Dr. Natasha said, I'll say it differently. Dr. Natasha said, use rock salt instead of sea salt. She did. She's still saying it. And why, and I believe the reason why is because rock salt, that means salt from mountains and salt from caves, will not have microplastics in them. That's the first thing, first point. However, and if anybody has found one, please let me know. Get it on our page, whatever. But I personally as like me, and also I as the GAPS chef, as the certified GAPS practitioner, blah, 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 I cannot find a good rock salt. Meaning, I want them to be able to tell us how many minerals are in there, how much of those minerals are in there, right? So let's say there's manganese in there. Maybe there's boron, maybe there's molybdenum, maybe there's all those beautiful trace minerals that we need. They need to be in there, but they also tell us how much is in there, right? So the majority of the rock salts out there, mountain salts, cave salts, rock salt, will not tell us, number 1, the types of minerals, mineral content. Number 2, mineral amount, right? They're not telling us those things. Therefore, Monica, have not found a high mineral salt. Now, there's one salt that I have found, and that is also being produced by Selena Naturally, and it's called Pink Cave Salt. It's on their website. It's a high mineral salt. It's very high in potassium. It's very low in sodium chloride. Hooray! So that's the only one that I've found. So you could definitely have that as one of the salts that you use. So the reason that I'm not jumping on the go get a rock salt bandwagon yet is because I haven't been able to, and I've been researching, I haven't been able to find a brand that's actually as high in minerals as Baja Gold or as, right, the Celtic gray salt, Selena Naturally, besides the pink cave salt. So if you find one, let me know, but I really believe, I could be wrong, but I really do believe that the reason why Dr. Natasha is now pointing us to rock salt or right, salt from the mountains, salt from caves, mountains, etc., is the problem of the microplastics. That's what I believe. I haven't asked her yet, but I believe that's why she's pointing us there. So how do we get around this? The way we get around this is that, to me, with my clients and with my students, is that I say, get 3 different salts. Get the pink cave salt from Selena, naturally pink cave salt. Get the Celtic salt from them, which is gray, and that comes from the sea. And get Baja Gold, or get some combination of 3 different salts and rotate them. And use them as your taste tells you, because the different types and amounts of minerals matter to you, right? Your body needs different minerals at different times. I almost never eat the pink cave salt because it's so high in potassium. However, other family members I have love it. They eat it all the time. It's a very different flavor. So use different salts. I've always said that. Mix it up. Just like I say, use different fats, mix it up, use different salts, mix it up, eat different organs, mix it up, make different meat stock, mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, right? The body does not like, usually, it needs a variety of each of these things. So I just wanted to talk about that because there's a lot of folks that are freaking out there. I see it. Oh my God, Dr. Natasha said no more sea salt. What are we going to do? Well, you're going to keep having sea salt as long as there's no microplastics in it, and look for something else, right? Now, there's one other thing I want to bring up and throw into the mix here, which is Shilajit. Shilajit is not listed in any of the books. It's not in my book. It's not in the blue book. It's not in the yellow book. Shilajit. S-H-I-L-A-J-I-T. Shilajit. You're welcome, Cindy. I hope that was helpful. Shilajit, good to see you. Shilajit is minerals from mountains. Very old mountains like the Himalayas, right? Like the Rockies, like the Himalayas. Old, old, old. So Shilajit, that is minerals, but you don't use it the same way as a salt, right? You're not going to like put it in your meat stock. It would taste gross. It's very strong tasting, but it may be something that you would like to add to your Be Well protocol, right? Shilajit. I like the one that's on drtomcowan.com. I use it myself. There are other ones. My dear friend Sandeep, who owns Pure Indian Foods, has beautiful Shilajit on his website, Pure Indian Foods. They have one. I know that Dr. Andy Kaufman has one, but those are salts and they are from the mountains, but you can't cook with them. You have to take them as a supplement to your life. And maybe that's a good thing to do. Your energy levels may be, increased if you do that. So I just wanted to bring up Shilajit. Okay. All right, folks, so that's what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and answer a few questions. And then I have an announcement to make, which is very exciting for me. All right, let's see where you are. I'm going to look to see questions. Hope that was helpful. If it was helpful, somebody give me a thumbs up somewhere. Okay. Laura asks, how about those who are not having veggies, so no sauerkraut juice? Really good question. You're going to have to rely on the amount of vitamin C in liver. Liver has vitamin C, so make sure you're having liver every day. Right? This is not a liver pill. This is not a supplement. This is liver that you're either having liver shots every day, right? The ones, little frozen liver shots that you put in the freezer and then you take a couple a day, 2, 3, 4, 6. You can grate liver into your stock and your soup every day. So believe it or not, liver has vitamin C in it. Thanks for the thumbs up there, Cindy. Love it. And the little, what did you give me, a bunny? Might have given me a bunny. I hope you gave me a bunny. It's a bunny. Did you see my message on your Facebook page? No, Asha, I did not. If you can throw it here. I can't really toggle back and forth. So if you can put it in, that would be grand. All right. Dana. Hello, Monica. Hello, Dana. I have a question. I've asked this before, but in the meantime, having tried many times to reintroduce dairy to my child and having been unsuccessful, I am now at the point where I'm wondering what else I can use in lieu of dairy products for calcium. Okay, so one more time with feeling, folks, right? Dana, I may have told you this before, but I'm going to go through it again for people who are new, so hopefully you won't mind. So when we are trying to introduce dairy to anyone on the GAPS diet, for yourself, for your children, for your spouse, for your grandmother, whoever is doing, for your client, la-di-da, you're trying to introduce dairy. So again, what do? We always look for raw first instead of pasteurized. So just check these boxes off. You've probably done this, Dana, but I'm just going to say raw versus pasteurized. Raw will always be more nutritious for the body, right? Superior product. Okay. The next thing is cow. Within cow, we're trying to do A2 these days, which just really means using traditional dairy cows. Traditional dairy cows, brown cows, right? How now brown cow? There's a reason for that. Because brown cows are traditional dairy cows. What does that mean? They are Swiss browns, they are Jerseys, they are Guernseys, they are Ayrshires, right? They are brown cows. Those are traditional dairy cows. So if you can get that, so that's what we do. This is the progression, right? Go from pasteurized to raw. Within raw, cow, we go to A2. If A2 doesn't work, we go to goat, right? Raw goat. If raw goat doesn't work, we go to sheep, raw sheep. If sheep doesn't work, we go to camel or whatever. We do whatever we can in that progression, right? We know that folks that have issues with cow dairy often do not have issues with or can tolerate goat dairy. We know that people who can't tolerate dairy can tolerate long cultured dairy, so it's lactose free, no sugar, which is all the cultured dairy on GAPS, right? So, and then of course there's the dairy introduction structure. Some people can't tolerate milk, but they can tolerate cultured milk, like yogurt, but they can tolerate cultured cream, cream that's cultured with yogurt. That's GAPS sour cream. So there's all these little things that you want to kind of look at before we just throw in the towel of my child can't tolerate dairy. Okay. So Dana, I know you know all of that. So then the next piece is, where do we get more calcium? Because calcium is very important, folks, to the human body and to the development of children, for their growth, for their bones, and for your bones, and also for your immunity, for your staying wellness. The body needs calcium. This is not nut milks, folks, and don't even get me started on that. I'll talk about that another time. I'm going to write about it. Nut milks are not serving you or your children for a lot of reasons. So, high calcium, what can you do? I'm trying to think about high calcium on... Okay, you could make a high calcium vinegar for your child. Folks, that is, there are certain herbs that are high in calcium, and you use apple cider vinegar raw, and you also use cleaned eggshells. And the vinegar will pull the calcium into the vinegar over time, long time. I need to post that. I'm making a note to post the high calcium vinegar recipe. Okay, so you can make a high calcium vinegar from apple cider vinegar, eggshells, and high calcium herbs. You can give her teas made from nettles, specifically is very high in calcium. Yes. Oat straw, OAT straw. You can have that as an herb. Oats themselves are not on the GAPS diet, but oat straw, very good. Also things like horsetail, otherwise known as equisetum. Those types of herbs, you can make a high calcium tea. Now, I'm just going to give it to you right here because I know, Dana, you'll go look for it, which is if you look into herbal remedies by either Rosemary Gladstar or Susun Weed. I say that because she spells it S-U-S-U-N, weed, like a weed. Susun Weed and Rosemary Gladstar are, to me, the best herbalists in the U.S. They're getting older. They have fabulous books out there. You can probably jump on their website and just search for high calcium tea, high calcium candy. I say that because I taught that once. Sesame seeds are very high in calcium. All right, so Dana says, hold on. La 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 la. I tried both A2 raw cow yogurt, the same with goats, both organic. I tried a few times, just doesn't work. She can't tolerate it. What can she not tolerate? Is she not what does not tolerate mean? That's what I really need to know, because remember, folks, and I know you've been on this journey a long time, Dana, so maybe you already know, but when we can't tolerate things, we back up and we start again after 2 weeks, or we back up and go slower. So we either stop and take a break, or we back up and go more slowly. And sometimes not tolerating is just die off. I don't know. All right. So I'd like to know more about what not tolerating looks like. That would be helpful to me so I could help. Okay. Here's the next question. I've been making sauerkraut and cabbage tonic for a long time, but I always have doubts that I'm not actually making it because it's so different every time. Sometimes I wonder if it's as robust as it could be, if that makes sense. As long as I'm following the recipe, is it really that powerful? Sometimes the tonic or sauerkraut comes out more soft, salty, less salty, crunchy or soft, tasty or not so tasty, strong or weak, thanks. So in terms of sauerkraut, yes, and cabbage tonic, do go ahead and watch the recipes, use the recipes. They really are, I mean, they're there for a reason. The amounts of salt are there, the amounts of cabbage to use, the amounts per quart or liter are all right there for you. So, two things. One, look for bubbles. If you see bubbles in the kraut or you see bubbles in the cabbage tonic, you know that you have grown or allowed to grow lactic acid producing bacteria, because in their growing and multiplying and pre-digesting your cabbage, they are giving off lactic acid and carbon dioxide. So bubbles. Bubbles means it's done. You've done it. Okay, that's a good way. Follow the recipe, look for bubbles. And then the last thing I was about to say, which I'll say now, is use a starter. If you really want to make sure things are potent, buy a starter. Get on Cultures for Health and grab a starter, a vegetable starter. Use some of that, add some of that. Right? Okay, I hope that's helpful. No worry about typos. Do I recommend pearl powder? I've never heard of pearl powder, Cindy. I'd love to learn more, but I don't know about pearl powder. All right, Mallory. Hello, Mallory. Mallory Kamenzuli. I would like to try the iodine patch test. Everyone should. Not that I'm shooting on you, but it is recommended. Can you recommend a good brand? You are looking for Lugol's Solution, Lugol''S, 2% or 5%. That's about all you can usually find. Just make sure it's organic. That's all. I don't really have a brand. I mean, I have my Lugol's upstairs, but what's the brand? I really don't know the brand. I can't find it. So I just looked up organic Lugol's Solution, and you get 2% or 5%. If you're going to do the iodine patch test, then my suggestion is to get a roller ball. This is not in any of the books. Get a roller ball, a brown glass roller ball, meaning they use it for essential oils to roll things on, right? Get one and use it to paint. It's easier than dropping on your wrist and kind of making it a great old big mess. So try it that way. All right, hope that's helpful. Right, la di da 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 da. She gets unwell. All right, go for the bubbles. I think it's Rachel, but I'm not sure. RACH. Go for the bubbles. You're welcome. Dana says she gets unwell, stomach aches, lots of burping, covers an eczema face, lots of mucus. Okay. Every time we tried, reactions seem to be getting worse and worse. Remember, we like mucus. I know. Maybe we don't. But if you look in the blue book, Dr. Natasha talks about the mucociliary escalator. It's in the chapter on lungs and liver. Liver and lungs, lungs and liver, blue book. Mucociliary escalator. Mucus is the way, sorry, but there you go. Mucus is the way that the lungs get rid of toxins. So we actually like mucus on GAPS. And dairy will do that. But we don't mind because we know that when mucus is coming out, that the body is getting rid. Remember, mucus is toxins leaving the body. The color of the mucus means different things, but mucus is toxins leaving the body. Yay. So if that's true, then support the lungs, right? Support the lungs. And we could talk about that more. I have some ways to support the lungs sitting on my website in my blog on autumn. It's also in my course on autumn anyway. Support the lungs with eucalyptus steams, with respiratory essential oils, with turpentine on the, right? Turpentine salve. There's some of those out there now that are good for the lungs. I think it's called something armor. Winter armor. Yeah. Anyway, it's tallow and those things for the lungs. Support the lungs. In terms of lots of burping, I mean, I don't know, Dana, if you've moved back to like a drop of yogurt in 8 ounces of water and take a drop of that. I don't know if you've gone all the way far, all the way back in that. Yeah. One of the things we all need to get jiggy with, or not, sorry, I like the word get jiggy. One of the things we want to all get jiggy with is we want to, comfortable, is pushing through when it's appropriate, pushing through a die-off. Pushing through a die-off. What does that mean? We push through. We keep eating that food to get to the other side. Only when it's not terribly uncomfortable. So remember, what does that mean? I've talked about this before, but pardon me. If someone is getting an eczema flare, like they get a little patch of red on their face over here because they had dairy, that's a push through, right? How about runny nose? That's a push through. How about a little rash on their arm? That's a push through. To me, in my book, maybe not in yours. You always have to choose. You're the mom or the dad or the whoever. Yeah, you have to choose what's comfortable pushing through. If someone has a drop of yogurt or dairy and they break out in hives that are so bad that they're itching and they're bleeding, yeah, that's not a push through in my book. So there's always a scale, right? What are things you push through and what are things that you like say, nope, gonna take a break for 2 months and then try again with less, with a different product, etc. All right, lots of burping. Remember, stomach aches, we have to also look at where the stomach is. Remember, the stomach is not in the middle of the belly, near the belly button. That's your small intestine. So check your use of the word stomach ache, everybody. Right? Your stomach is under your left breast, if you will. Your liver is on the right side and your stomach's on the left side, and that's where they are. So see if it's really a stomach ache or it's a small intestine ache, because that matters, etc., etc. All right. Blessings on your and her journey. Dana, I'm sure you're doing the best you can with all of it. All right. So I have Asha's question. We're going to get off right in about 3 minutes, folks, because I have another meeting, maybe 10. I have to get to another meeting right away at noon. Pardon me. Okay. Asha typed it in here. What are the best antifungal foods? None. Oops, did I say that? Sorry. All right, let's start over. What are the best antifungal foods? As her tests say she is full of fungi and bacteria, cleansing foods like oregano and turmeric. Also, what can I use for my pizza topping in terms of sauce and cheese, as she can't have tomatoes or peppers? What is is mung dal yellow ones GAPS allowed? Mung dal. If mung dal is a split pea, it is allowed. So just look that up. I think that's correct. Okay. So here's the thing. One more time with feeling. Again, I don't know your daughter. I'm assuming it's your daughter. I don't know her history, so I'm just going to throw out in general. In general, in GAPS, we never go after any particular microbe. This is straight from Dr. Natasha. We use the diet for 2 years. We use the diet because it will help the microbes to come back to balance. There are reasons why your person is full of fungi. Fungi are the toxin cleaner-uppers of the body, of the digestive tract. So when we have a fungal overgrowth, it is the body's effort to get the toxins out. So we're not going to go after the fungi, because then they won't be able to do their job, and your body will just continue, or her body will continue to ask more fungi to grow and to ask more fungi to show up to take care of the problem. So the first thing you want to do with a fungal overgrowth is remove all the sugar foods. This is it for Dr. Natasha and for me. Meaning I say this and she says this, right? Remove all the sugar foods. I'm going to say remove all the nuts, all the seeds, all the beans, all the lentils, all the fruit, all the sugar goes out. No sugar. No sugar 6 months, right? That's the first thing you do. You can absolutely use turmeric in your cooking because it's anti-inflammatory. It is not antifungal. Really, it's really anti-inflammatory, which is good. So first remove the food source, right? And then number 2, detoxify, detoxify, detoxify. And increase the amount of kefir in the diet. Lots of kefir, lots of milk kefir, lots of kefir cream, lots of milk kefir, lots of kefir cream. We're talking like a cup, 2 cups, 3 cups a day. Not all at once. You all know I'm always about just a little bit at a time. Increase little bit. Use the stair-step method, etc., etc. So do not go after the fungi. They're there for a reason. They're telling you that she's toxic. Number 1 way to get rid of toxicity, enemas. Just let that drop. You all know that. Enemas. Detox baths every night. And then there's lots of other things you can do to detoxify, which are all listed in the blue and the yellow books. All right. Let's see. Sabine. I have to take a sip of water, folks. I'm about to cough. Hold on. Pardon me. Let's see what else you got. You're so welcome, Dana. You're so welcome, Rachel. You're so welcome, Asha. Okay. How do we make the body more acidic? Well, that's not just apple cider vinegar in water, eating fermented foods, lactic acid, drinking fermented beverages. That's the beginning. Eating, fermented foods, apple cider vinegar, fermented beverages. That will be very, very helpful. I could talk more about that. And of course, all your cultured dairy is high in lactic acid, right? This is lactic acid fermentation. That's the beginning of the answer. All right, I'm going to get to Sabine, and then I'm going to tell you my news, and then I'm going to need to scoot. Okay, I've been on GAPS Intro for 2 months. Congratulations. I feel good? Yes. In addition to meat, fish stock, I'm now eating vegetables, beetroot, kvass, eggs, half a cup of kefir, sour cream, yogurt, and whey. Last night I had a terrible cramp in the outside of my leg. I'm only taking omega-3. What can I do? It is highly possible. This is the word according to Monica in my nutrition training. Okay, so here you go. And my knowledge of GAPS. It's highly possible that probable that your body needs more omega-3s, what I call vitamin F or omega fatty acids. You need more fatty acids because you're having so much dairy, and it's good that the calcium is not going into the bones. It's staying in the bloodstream, which is making you cramp. The way that we get calcium into the bones where it's needed is with what I call vitamin F or essential fatty acids. So I would increase the amount of your omega-3s. I don't know how much you're taking, but that means fish oil, people. Fish oil, fish oil, fish oil. The best fish oil is from Standard Process. If you have a practitioner you're working with, or if you want to work with me or you're working with me, we can get you tuna omega-3. Or lots of butter. Butter, butter, butter is very high in essential fatty acids. Better than any fish oil. So that's really what's going on here. You're welcome to spray magnesium on the outside of your leg, but the reality is it's being caused because the calcium's in the bloodstream, which is making you cramp. It needs to go into the bones. And legs are usually where that happens for people. I hope that's helpful, Sabine, Laura, Dana. Okay, quick announcement to everyone, and I'll say more. 2 announcements which I want to share with you, and I'll give you more information on our page. The first announcement is that I am launching something called Jumpstart GAPS. It is an 8-week course with me. 8-week course with me, 8 weeks. Over the 8 weeks, we're going to talk all about, go really in depth on the 6 stages of intro, on equipment and sourcing. Pardon me, hold on. Maybe I'm not supposed to tell you, hold on. Goodness gracious. Okay, Jumpstart GAPS. Take a look, keep a lookout for that. It is, goodness, I've lost my voice. It's a live class, an hour and a half every week for 8 weeks together. Recipes, techniques, a live Q&A every week, and also a closed group with just us. So that's happening starting in January. You can sign up now. You're so welcome. The other thing that I'm really excited to announce is that I'm going to be teaching live in-person classes again, starting in March. Goodness gracious. Starting in March in Colorado, northern Colorado. We will be doing 3-day weekends, one in March, one in April, one in July, and one in August, where I go in depth in all of the cooking techniques. So take a look, keep a lookout for that. Those are sitting on my website right now, simplybeingwell.com, but I will announce, and I'll also offer special discounts on both of those to this group. All right. That's my announcement. I'm excited to get back in the kitchen with all of you. And I don't know if many of you don't know, but I used to teach all around the country, in Canada and South America and France, blah, 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 prior to, let's call it the pandemic. Anyway, prior to lockdown. I know, Cindy, come on. All right. Blessings on all of your journeys. I hope this was helpful to you. I will be here the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays, so keep an eye out. If there are things you want to learn about or you want to talk about, shoot it, right? Send it to me, like, let's talk about this. You could even put it under the event. And the next time we have a Facebook Live, can you please talk about this? La, 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 la. And we'll go from there. Okay, everyone. Blessings this week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay. Take care, all. Be well.